Days before my father died, his 401k was rerouted to my half-brother. My stepmother purred, "You're doing just fine, let Leo have it." When I challenged it, she snapped, "Push this, and I'll sue you for harassment." But what she didn't know was this. While I'm still breathing, my father's money won't be that easy to steal. On a Tuesday, I was in the kitchen, trying to coax our 5-year-old son Noah into eating a carrot stick. My husband Mark was at the dining table, laptop open, finishing up a work proposal. We were a picture of domestic tranquility, the kind of peace we had worked relentlessly for over a decade to achieve. The phone buzzed, displaying a number I recognized as my late father's estate lawyer, Mr. Harrison. My heart did a familiar, painful little squeeze. It had only been 6 weeks since we'd lost Dad to a swift and brutal fight with pancreatic cancer. The grief was still a raw, open wound, a constant ache just beneath the surface of my daily life. "Hello, Clara." Mr. Harrison's voice was gentle, professional. "I hope I'm not calling at a bad time." "No, not at all," I said, moving to the living room for privacy. "Is everything okay?" "Everything is proceeding as expected with the will. Your father was very organized. However, there is one item I need to discuss with you, a significant one. It's regarding his 401k retirement account." I nodded. Even though he couldn't see me, Dad had always been meticulous about his finances. He was a man who believed in providing and leaving a legacy of security. He told me countless times, especially after my mother passed away and he remarried, that his retirement savings were his way of ensuring I was always taken care of. "Your stepmother Brenda has the house and her own savings," he'd say, patting my hand. "The 401k is for you, kiddo. It's your safety net." It was a substantial amount, the result of 40 years of diligent work as a civil engineer. It was the money Mark and I had earmarked for Noah's college fund, a future we could give him that was free of the crushing student debt we'd both endured. "Okay," I said, my voice steady. "Well, Clara," Mr. Harrison cleared his throat, a sound I would later recognize as the prelude to a storm. "It appears the beneficiary designation on the account was changed shortly before your father passed. The sole beneficiary is now listed as your half-brother Leo." The world went silent. The sounds of the house, Noah's giggles, Mark's typing, the hum of the refrigerator faded into a dull roar in my ears. I must have misheard. "I'm sorry," I stammered, sinking onto the arm of the sofa. "Can you repeat that?" "The beneficiary was changed. The paperwork was filed 3 weeks before your father's death. It's all legally in order, signed and dated. The entire balance of the account will be dispersed to Leo." 3 weeks before he died, the words echoed in the cavernous space that had just opened up in my chest. 3 weeks ago, Dad was barely lucid. He was a ghost of himself, tethered to the earth by a web of tubes and a constant morphine drip. He couldn't hold a pen steady, let alone comprehend a complex financial document. He was confused, weak, and in constant pain. The man who signed that form was not the father I knew. My mind raced, trying to make sense of the impossible. And then, a single, clear image surfaced. My stepmother, Brenda, sitting by his bedside, her hand holding his, guiding a pen across a document she'd shielded from my view. "Just some hospital forms, honey," she'd said with a tight, saccharine smile when I'd walked in.